So I had a thought, and my thought was it was kind of a handicap thought. So I parked in the handicap zone because emergency purposes. Before they closed, I parked in the handicap zone, and here's the concrete evidence of being handicapped because 80 pounds is heavy. This is my handicap square mouth shovel. And has anybody had a handicap shovel that they had on handicap? This right here is the parts and pieces of my handicap tripod from watching me do handicap type activity. And this is me setting the phone on the tripod in a prop position, a handicap way. Turns out we don't actually need the phone holder mechanism. We can discard that. I'm a little disappointed that the concrete mix is a little handicapped too, because it's already kind of cured up and a bit chunky. But in all fairness, when we get older, we do tend to get a little more chunky. I can't. So now the dust has settled, I've mixed it to a consistency of rhinoceros diarrhea. I don't have a wheelbarrow. I just have Tupperware. That's a struggling artist right there you're watching. So that's the woodworking portion of this whole project. This is all the woodworking you're gonna see on this. Right here, we got to take the shovel and push rebar through it. That's my attempt. And then I realize I can't drill through it. It's tempered still. So what do we do now? We clean it off, grab the saw. That's a metal cutting saw, by the way, and we just slice it up a little bit. After we get done slicing it up, I go to bend one. Oh, and I just snap it right off. That didn't broke it. Done broke it. So tempered still, apparently you cannot bend very well either. So I'm struggling, bending it just barely. I can feel that it's about to snap. You know, I've got to figure out a better solution when I'm doing stuff like this. Suddenly I'm reminded of sticking kids' heads in the toilet back in junior high with this method here. So I got a torch. I thought, well, you know, metal fabricators, they heat metal up so they can bend it. So let's try it even with the little torch. So far it's actually working. Look at that. I'm putting teeth on it like a jack-o'-lantern. This way it'll have a better bite. That was taking so long that my camera actually died, and I just went ahead and inserted it in that elephant dung. But it still got a little bendy-roo going on. This is the safety portion of the video. If you take your tool and tape it to the cord, that reminds your dumbass not to lose the tool, but it also reminds your dumbass not to do something kind of dumbassy. This is where I speed everything up, so it looks like I'm working much faster, getting a lot more done. By the way, you probably should wear a mask when you're stirring up some fiberglass like this. This is a propane copper line I pulled out of my camper, and I'm just threading the needle right here. This is the way I'm going to fix the handle. And this is how I measure. This is how I measure without a tape measure. I usually don't use a tape measure, and I don't like it when people keep texting me when I'm trying to make a video. And right here we got a pause for my sponsor, Titties and Beers. That's why we're here. Don't you forget that. Since I don't know what straight is, I just drop a level and have to figure out where to put the handle back on, because after all, I am trying to fix this thing. Forgot to put the rebar in the concrete, so I figure I better drill some holes in the handle and tap, tap, tap. This is my version of fireworks in the shop. Tap, 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 tap. Gotta hold the concrete together. I'm putting the rebar completely in the wrong spot. That's not where the rebar goes, Ben. That's not where it goes, Ben. Then you take this medieval torture device and insert it in the copper hole. And don't worry about electrolysis, because I really don't give a shit. I missed something, so I figured I better just cut its head all the way off. Then ream it out a little bit so something will fit inside. You know me, I collect stuff, and this is just an ugly lamp, and I didn't really want to go to the store anyway. Let's pop it in the top of the handle. I found this back in the back of the shop. Little cage. By doing this, I can actually clamp the handle down on the socket and hold it in place. Clamp, clamp, clampy. And this is when Ben really shines, is when he starts putting light bulbs into things. Now it's time to be insertive. So we got all the wiring done. It just goes up the back side of the shovel, and I taped everything real good like a candy cane coming around here. The light does actually work. It's a 3 different shades of stylish. Rebel, what do you think? Is this like the ugliest thing I've ever built? It's missing something. It's missing this bucket. Just gotta put this up here like that. That looks much better, doesn't it, Rebel? Looks much better. However, this is a job well done, in my opinion. And here comes Rebel, Inspector Gadget's like, yeah, Dad, I knew something was up your sleeve with all of this. So I'm not the one that created this idea. I actually saw a woodworker do it. I didn't duplicate him, obviously, because I didn't use any of that shit. I didn't use any wood at all. If you haven't figured out what this is, it's a floating coat rack. Obviously, this is Merlin's style of a coat rack. And it's clearly designed to always have a coat on board with a little light.